Hello, and welcome to Girls, Gays, Animes, where it is safe to love what you love and love who you love. I am your host, Valsaraptor. I'm here with my co-host, DokiDokiBunBun, and today we love Dandadan. I think it's good stuff. Do you think it's good stuff, Doki?
You're doing great. Just keep it going the whole time. Just keep that rolling.
You're just nervous laughing the whole time. What am I supposed to do?
That's my shtick. That's what I do. T's not here to add real words. I just spend the whole time laughing every time. You didn't notice?
Luckily, in advance of this, I did have a couple of, side conversations with T about Dandadan.
Good call.
Mostly about the dancing episode, the dancer episode.
That makes sense. I think that's what everyone's talking about. That's what my entire TikTok feed is at this point.
Yeah. So, when did you start watching Dandadan?
Exactly 1 week ago. I was late to the game. I'm late to everything, because me and my fiancé, we watch everything together, which makes it take 10 times longer to get to anything. So, and I haven't read it either, so...
Okay.
I've
read it, so I was here to provide context to the, anime versus manga bit, right? And I started watching it, as soon as it came out, because, I was behind the hype.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were emotionally ready for this.
I was. But I feel like I also wanted to, watch a couple of episodes before I pressured you into watching it, because, it was so funny because, the first episode came out, and I remember seeing a bunch of TikToks about people joking, oh, finally got my, girlfriend to agree to watch anime, and I'm gonna have her watch Dandadan, and then it's, the first episode.
No, that's horrifying. I will say, as someone who definitely needs trigger warnings ahead of time, I was so grateful that I had gotten trigger warnings before that episode. So I can't imagine, being I've never seen an anime, I love cartoons. Just getting punched in the face.
Imagine the counterpart of that, which is I've never seen an anime. They're weird, but I'm willing to try it for you. And then you get one episode into Dandadan.
They are weird.
And you're like, this is exactly what I imagined anime was like.
Dated. This is
never again.
I feel like the first episode was the exact thing that I was always afraid my parents would walk in while I was watching anime. That is the epitome of the scene I didn't want my parents to walk in the room during.
Specifically, the 3 aliens around the half-naked teenage girl trying to probe her scene. Specifically that one, right?
No, just the line, "Give me your banana." That's what upset me. Yeah, obviously, the aliens.
These aliens are really into fruit. Gotta say.
They gotta get that potassium. There's no potassium where they're from.
It's true. So, I'm gonna try to, not spoil things, but you know how I am with, remembering, timelines of things? What's happened already versus what's not happened already?
Oh, you mean spoil things as in the manga, not in the show. I was I don't think we can talk about the show without spoiling the show. That makes sense, though.
Yeah. So, again, first episode, weird. Don't play it to your friends who don't like anime. But it was okay. So before we even get into the episodes, I'm always saying this, but Creepy Nuts hits so hard.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
I had my husband and I took Doki's son out for a dinner event. We went to hang sesh. We went to Kura. We took him to Kura. We did some nerd stuff with him, but when it was just him and I driving around after I picked him up, I made him listen to this intro in the car. And I was like, hey, you hear this one part? Doesn't it kind of sound like Pikmin? And he was like, yeah, why does it sound like that? And then I kept getting him to listen to it again because he kept wanting to hear the Pikmin part of it.
That sounds like him, yeah. That checks out.
Yeah. So it was good, and I was like, but Creepy Nuts, I was like, the people who sing the song, they do other anime intros too. And he wasn't as interested in that as I hoped. But the Pikmin part, yeah, we listened to it 3 times on the 35-minute car ride from your place.
Honestly, impressive, because so far, the only song my son has ever, genuinely ever, showed interest in is the opening to Skate the Infinity. That's the only song he cares about in the world. So this is impressive for him in general. It does sound like Pikmin, though. That is hilarious.
Skate the Infinity intro is another, like, solid.
It's so good.
It's a no-skip.
All the time.
This one's a no-skip intro. That one's a no-skip intro.
For sure. 100%.
We should do an episode on exclusively, like, what are our no-skip intros?
Would be delighted. However, 1, I don't think we're going to have the same opinions. 2, I'm going to embarrass myself. Like, because everyone's going to be like, wow, what a nerd. Even other weebs are going to watch this and be like, wow, what a nerd. I don't know if I'm ready to out myself like that.
You're worried about outing yourself as a nerd while I actively am wearing a Notice Me Senpai shirt as we publicly record live to the entire internet.
That's how embarrassing some of those are. I said what I said, and I stand by it. Okay.
Fair enough. I mean, I think you know all my no-skip intros, but it would still be fun to talk about it, because maybe T has some different ones that...
I think it could be fun. It could be a good time.
Write that down. We're never going to remember.
Nope,
we're never
already forgot.
No. But anyway, so yeah, Dandadan, no-skip intro starts off strong, right?
Right out the gate.
The first episode, weird, but, like, very entertaining.
I do have a question about it.
Go ahead.
You're gonna really like this.
Okay.
So, I get the give me your bananas. I got that. Why did they say that to Momo, though, as well? Why did they say they were gonna scoop out her bananas? I had confusion about that.
It has not explicitly explained that in the manga. I think they're gonna get to it because they're starting to get into, like, the, like, lore behind, like, the aliens and the ghosts piece of it, and, like, how they work together. And so I'm hoping something like that comes up, but I think they just have, like, zero idea about reproductive organs whatsoever. So they're like, everything banana. Everything banana.
That's kind of what I assumed, but I didn't know, because, like, sometimes in shows like this or manga like this, like, weird lines like that will have, like, some kind of strange deep meaning. And so I was, like, watching it, and I'm like, is this just stupidity? Or is this something I'm supposed to remember?
No,
Which I felt
they're
like
just
there were
dumb
a lot of
aliens
like that.
I think they're just dumb aliens.
I will say, this show gave me, and I don't know why, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it gave me strong Kill la Kill vibes, which is fun because it's another, like, Dandadan, Kill la Kill.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, the animation style for some reason. I think because it's just so, like, quick and punchy, and, like, you got the high school drama and then these, like, really intense, quick, fast fights. I felt such similarity between the two, which was kind of cool.
Which, it's so interesting that you say that the fights are quick. I have, like, a cat hair on my face, sorry. Because I like to kind of, like, go back, and as I'm watching the episode, like, remember what I was reading and how long that piece went on for. And the fights are quick in the anime, but know that they are significantly drawn out to what they are in the manga.
Really?
Really.
How short is the manga? Is it...
It reads really quick, but for example, the crab fight...
Yeah.
When they start, like, running from the crab to, like, them being on the train, like, that whole sequence where he, like, busts out of, like, the pile of, like, zombie-esque people.
Yeah.
And, like, they're running around and they're doing the slingshot with the hand thing. That was legit, like, 2 pages in the manga.
Jeez. That's fascinating, because I actually made a comment, because as someone with pretty bad ADHD, I really struggle to binge shows. My brain just cannot do it. This show I found so easy to binge because it wasn't, like, no points were slow. It's so fast, it feels so quick-paced, everything feels very, like, dovetailed and nice. A real easy binge. So it's fascinating to know that the manga is even quicker. That entices me to read the manga, to be honest.
I've really enjoyed it. And I find that, like, because the manga is also so quick, there's very few instances where I feel like the animators are cutting things out.
That's nice.
With the exception of the dancer episode.
Really?
So in the dancer episode, the mom is like, she looks in a window, like, just for example, at the dress that she wants to buy her daughter.
Yes.
And then you see her working some more. You see her giving her daughter the dress, her daughter dancing around in the dress, having a birthday in the dress, and then the people break into their home and she's wearing the dress. In the manga, the mom looks at the dress. The next scene, the daughter is being abducted in the dress.
Oh my gosh. Jeez,
so all of that was added. Like that, all of that whole sequence was added.
I'm kind of glad they added it. That makes it sadder.
Yes. It really, that's what I'm saying. Like, this show is so dynamic because it's like, oh, I'm so excited to, like, have a good time and watch this show. But then, like, it's also, like, one of those, like, kick your feet giggle shows. But then it's also, like, I cried today, like, show. So you never know what you're gonna get when you jump into an episode of Dandadan.
No, it was... The episode with the Selkie, too, is so beautiful because they focused so little on dialogue for all of that, and it was so, like, music-driven. I feel like they picked, like, the score for that was just so good. It made it so much more heart-wrenching and just, like, upsetting, and without even knowing, like, the little details, I guess, of, like, everything. I felt like it came across so well. I did see on TikTok, though, maybe you can tell a bit more, because I found myself really wanting to know at the end about the daughter and, like, what happened to her. And everyone on TikTok was saying that there was an extra panel in the manga that alluded to what had happened to the daughter. Could you,
There wasn't. I was also, like...
What? Because on TikTok, it specifically says that after the Selkie lady... passes on, her spirit passes on, that her and her daughter, like, it shows, like, a panel of them walking into the light together, which would have implied that her daughter had died.
I mean, like, I assumed... So yes. However, like, I don't know how long ago, like... I guess maybe the implication is that her daughter died, like, as a child, but in my mind, I'm like...
what I took away.
I wasn't sure, I guess, when I saw that, if that was just her, like, way of reaching peace was, like, getting to imagine a final moment with her daughter, or if it was, like, really them walking away.
I would interpret it, I think it's very much up to interpretation. I think my interpretation of it, because it's coming from, what's her face, Ira, there you go. That, because she's saying let them go to a kinder world. I interpreted it as her seeing their spirits moving forward together.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, when I originally saw the scene, I thought the daughter was being sold off, kind of a thing.
Yeah, so I didn't picture the daughter, like, being killed, like, after that. I like you said, I expected some, like, I might. So that brings me to another thing that, like, with this particular episode too, they did, like, it was a heart-wrenching episode, but they still, how I told you, they added a bunch, like, of, like, the daughter in the dress scene. They also cut out, so there were multiple panels in the manga of the dancer mom, like, getting dressed from, like, after being in a hotel room.
Well, yeah, because it's pretty, I think, heavily implied she's a lady of the night.
Well, not everyone isn't autistic. So when I watched it, I was like,
So
wow,
sorry.
They cut out the fact that she was sleeping with people for money. That's so interesting.
She slept in another place and there was money on the table, though. That's enough. I'll tell you, my fiance, he did catch that she was a prostitute.
I don't think that I would have gotten it if I hadn't read the manga.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Just because she worked so many different odd jobs, she could have gotten, and they showed the other odd jobs, that she could have gotten money in any other way, but they didn't show her, like, in a room or with another man or anything, to the point where I was like, okay, they cut out that one job that she was doing.
That's so interesting, because I viewed it completely different. I viewed it as, like, a really tasteful way of, like, respecting the character without showing it, kind of a thing. To me, it just felt like a tasteful, nice way of saying Lady of the Night.
So that was what T and I had talked about
it.
That was what T and I had talked about, because I was mad that they cut it out, because I thought it added more drama to, like, what she was willing to do for her daughter. Like, in addition to, like, working multiple jobs, she was also doing this on the side. And he's like, oh, well, I got that. And I was like, I'm autistic, so I, like, need to explicitly be told things. But I think it's also because I was explicitly told that in the manga for multiple panels. So to have a 2-page scene where, like, they go from the mother looking at a dress to the girl being taken away in the dress, to being told multiple times in the manga that she was sleeping with men, to then not seeing it all in the anime, that for me was like, oh, they cut it out.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have interpreted it that way. But again, it's very different because I haven't read the manga, so I only have what I've seen from the show to go off of. So that's really interesting.
They also cut this last bit that I included on, like, what I'm sharing right now. The bottom is obviously, and they do have this exact, that's a manga panel. Her legs completely outstretched. I don't know the name of that move, but that is a specific manga panel. But a couple panels later is the panel above that, with her, like, diving off of the building. And that was something that they did cut from the anime. And that was another thing that I think a bunch of other autistics were arguing about on the internet, was that some people, like, it wasn't clear to them that she had jumped off of a building.
Interesting.
Because the way that she was dancing on the roof, like, even in this scene here, you can't see buildings behind her. You just know she's, like, dancing somewhere, it's wet. And the scene before this, she was running around in the street and, like, she fell. So for a lot of people, like, who didn't notice or, like, didn't quite explicitly get the connection, they thought she was just, like, dancing and then fell again, or had, like, I don't know, like, something had happened to her and this was her, like imagining herself dancing or something. They didn't connect that she was dancing on a rooftop to then jump off of it, like, or that they thought she was just dancing and then fell, and then.
So see, this one, I was able to piece together that she had jumped. However, so the other one, I think it's kind of here or there for me. For this one, though, I do think that would have added something. Like, while I was able to piece together, I do think that panel above, because I hadn't seen that until now, I do think that's a very, like, moving panel and would have added a lot of depth. Even if they took that and then transitioned into her dancing amongst the sky. Like, that's, I think, fine. But I do think that would have added something. That's a really cool panel.
Yeah, so in the manga, it's, like, the one below, and then maybe one more panel of her dancing, and then the one above it is, like, the next panel. And then, and it's in Japanese here, but it's, like, I can't remember exactly what she says, but it's that, the implication that text bubble at the top is, like, either her apologizing to her daughter, or I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but it was another one where I'm like, I think they included the text, but they didn't include, like, the jump scene, which again, like,
yeah,
that's all. They didn't show her landing or anything, which they didn't show in the anime either.
Yeah.
But just the jump off was so, like, beautifully tragic. The way that she's just like, my daughter's gone, there's nothing I can do. And then how she, because there's her face stays, like, flat through it, and she, like, maintains this, like, beautiful pose as she, like, jumps off, and it's.
Yeah. No, that is a really and I think it would have blended really well with what they had done in the show. Like, I don't think it would have changed anything except to make it more tragic.
Yeah. So, those were the ones that I noticed, like, had the biggest difference for me was that, and then, like I said, the crab episode. Yeah. But, like, I'm finding that, like, most of the fight scenes, like, the animators really went above for those. Yeah.
We love to see it. I will say this is a very hard left from what we were just saying, but something that really stuck out to me that I'm really enjoying as just, like, you know, a new fan to Dandadan. I loved Momo's best friends, and I just want to formally say it on the internet. I love them because they're like cool kids, right? They're hip, they're cool, they're popular. Yes. But they're such good friends.
They're really are.
Good friends.
They're like, why are you being mean to your boyfriend? Like, he's this, like, nerdy little twerp that they don't really know that well, but they're like, they can tell that she likes him. So, like, why are you being a jerk to him, dude? Like, grow up.
Right. They're not being like, ew, you like him. They're just like, haha, you like a nerd. Cute. Anyways.
Yeah. But, like, they would do that for any, like, if you like any guy, they'd be like, haha, you like that guy? Gross. Like, that's the vibe that they give.
I adore them. I also love, there's a lot of, and I don't know any of the names, I'm uncultured, but there's a lot of, like, call-outs to, like, these, like, Japanese fashion, like the makeup that the one best friend does with, like, the large white.
The gauru, yeah.
Yes. I was so excited to see that. I feel like everyone's clothes in the show, it's just phenomenal. I absolutely love the style that they've done for all of this. It feels like such a, I don't know, just like such a callback.
Real fast, back to, because I looked up the panel. So basically, after in the manga, she's like crying on the ground. Then the next panel is her standing on the edge of the roof, of like standing on the edge of this roof.
Yeah.
And then her having a flashback to her dancing with her daughter. Then she, like, goes to, like, pirouette. She does the one jump. She does, like, a swoosh of her arms. Then there's a panel of her daughter hugging her, going, Mommy, they're there. Then, like, this text bubble that you see here, it says, thank you always. And the jump is actually a full spread. So it's, like, right and left page, like, you're opening the manga, and it's, like, a full spread of her jumping off with the thank you always in the corner as she jumps down. And then that's the end of that chapter.
If you're trying to make me cry, like, in a recorded environment, I want to say that's really rude of you. Honestly, uncalled for. I thought we were besties. That's fine. I'm offended.
Sorry, back to the best friends, though. So, it's funny you mentioned the best friends because they would never do this. But so speaking of the makeup, her one bestie wasn't wearing her makeup in the latest episode.
Well, I think she, like, plays around with different styles and stuff. Because it looks like that's, like, their, like, shtick is that they're always doing makeup in class and stuff. And so I, to me, gives the vibe of, like, they're just trying out different makeup styles and things like that. I don't know. They're just so freaking cute.
They really are.
I love them. She, like, comes back and she's like, where's my coffee?
Oh, her orange juice?
Yeah. It was just...
It's like,
God.
Where's my juice? So and she's like, I gave it to the ground.
God, just so freaking cute. Because you just don't really see, I feel like... I don't know, like, a lot of times in these types of shows, I feel like whenever there's, like, popular characters, like, their friends are always kind of dicks. And so, like, it was so refreshing to see characters that genuinely care about each other. It was also... I don't know, I feel like they... so far have really avoided a lot of tropes that give me the ick in anime that I'm enjoying, because, like, you have pink hair, whom is nutso bananas, who's like, Okaruna,
I would wind it up on her. I don't care how sweet she was to Silky, I would still wind it up on her.
Everyone online's like, no, I'm so sorry I judged you, and I'm like, she's still nutso banana. What are you talking about? But I like it. She's like, oh, I love you, Okaru. And he's like, no, thank you. And I love that,
Step back, ma'am.
I love that, like, even though it's still going the whole traditional, like, Momo's clearly jealous, all this stuff, like, they're making it, and I could be wrong, maybe it's different, maybe it gets different in the manga, but it comes across very, like, to be clear, we're not doing a triangle. Okaru not interested. And I really enjoy that, because I absolutely hate love triangles. They give me such anxiety.
Yes. And so I think what's so fun about Dandadan is clearly it's a Shonen Jump series, right? Like, you can read it on the Shonen Jump app. Yeah. But I read something online that said that the mangaka that wrote Dandadan, like, his editor or something, before he, like, started writing, was like looking at his style and looking at his stories and was like, hey, something's missing. I need you to go and read a bunch of like slice of life and like romance mangas, and then I want you to jump in, and this is what we got, right? Like, so it got shows. All of the, and it shows, right? Like, it really does. It's like, it's still clear that like a dude wrote this, but like for the female gaze, like in some ways, like how you said the relationships, like it's not a love triangle. Like, he is loyal to Momo. He's like, ma'am, you need to stop. Like, he wasn't even tempted. Like, he was like, no. I only have eyes for this cutie.
And right? I'm here for it. I love that. It does, now that you say that, I didn't notice, but it does give slice of life vibes. 100%.
Yeah! It's like this weird slice of life, but then there's like these action scenes, but to your point, you were like, oh, the action scenes are so fast, and I'm like, they're even shorter in the manga, but it's like, just enough to still be a shonen, but in the manga, it almost reads like a slice of life because the fight scenes are so short. I mean, they're not like so short, but it's not like you're reading My Hero where it's like going to go on forever.
Yeah, where they
like, how long is this going to
handle out? Yeah, I do like. I don't know if you noticed, but on the Dandadan wiki page, the little icon in the upper left is Okarun's ball. That's the icon that they used. I pulled something up because I couldn't remember anyone's names, and I just know, like, it just popped out to me. I was like, wait a second. So, we love that. Great job, Wiki. That's great.
I also love where people online were, like, talking about the exit song, how the Turbo Granny cat is, like, holding a dryer to her face because she misses running fast.
Mm-hmm. That made me sad.
And I was like, oh no, sad.
I find it really interesting that everyone's like, I love Turbo Granny so much. I still find Turbo Granny really annoying. Also, Momo's grandma annoys the crap out of me. I'm so sorry, Internet. I know she's very pretty, and I know everyone feels
No, she's strongly. A baddie, but she's really annoying. Yeah.
So I think the only thing that really bothers me about her is that she's still bitter about Momo being like, you're a phony. She was like, what, 4?
Right.
But that was one of those things also, where I was like, just stop.
More gets explained. Like, I want to know why Momo's grandma is such a baddie. Yeah. Like, is there lore? Is it because she's, like, has, you know, with the ghosts and whatnot? Like, is there something else?
It would be cool to know if there was, like, a plot reason for it, or if they just wanted people to be able to look
a hot
at
granny.
Boobs. Like, like, was there reason for it? Or I would hope so. I also find it interesting that, like, I don't know, a 4-year-old is like, you're a fake, and so she literally, like, because in all the previous stuff, it looked like she dressed like a traditional, like, you know, priestess, and then now she's in, like, low-cut cardigan, because a kid told her she was a phony, and she's like, forget it. What was the point? Like, I found that so weird.
I'm wondering if, like, the reason they made Granny hot was because... And maybe there's no plot reason. Maybe it's simply because they knew this was going to be, like, a show for adults, and they wanted to give them an age-appropriate hot character to like.
I hope that's not it. That'll annoy me. That'll annoy me so bad, because it's just... Why?
Because of all the other TikToks I've been seeing recently about how Megan Thee Stallion is watching Dandadan. So now everyone is begging her to cosplay as the granny. Not Turbo Granny, the grandma. I don't remember the grandma's name.
I was gonna say, do it, Megan. Dress up as Turbo Granny, please.
She would do it. Honestly, knowing Meg, though, she would probably dress as Turbo Okarun.
Oh my gosh, do it. That's one of my favorite character concepts.
Knowing Meg, she would do it.
Ever. They did such a cool job with his transformation. I really did not expect that, and the way that they, like... I just thought it was so cool, and I love the personality shift. He's so cool. Like, I'm such a fan.
All of the yokai high schooler mashups that they've been doing, where, like, they get the powers... have been so good. So I'm sure you've noticed in the intro that there is a fourth companion.
Yeah. The pink-haired dude.
Oh. Yeah. So probably won't get introduced to him in the next episode. Okay. In the next episode, you'll probably get introduced to him, but it won't be for another, like, episode after that until you get into, like, what his shtick is in the show. Because he's obviously important because he's in the intro.
Could you?
But it's also so funny how, like, the grandma is always, like, anytime any other person is nice to her, she's basically like, forget you, Momo, like, you're trash. I hope this other person does beat the crap out of you.
I know, like, what the... Also, all I could think about in the one scene where she grabs the crab was like, ew, because maybe it's because I'm a sweaty person, I don't know, but I was just like, ew, your crab's gonna taste so gross now. Stop touching your food so... And meanwhile, TikTok's like, ooh, grandma, and I'm just like, oh, your crab's gonna be so warm, and like, don't do that. I said that to my fiance, and he just like looked at me like, what is wrong with you? Why are you like this?
Oh my
I'm just saying what the people really think. We want non-gross crab. I do love that I feel like I can relate to Momo, though. Like, the scene when he's like, help me, and she's just like, nomming down. It was the cutest thing I've
Stupid
ever
face while she's holding it, too, and she's, like, gnawing on it.
I was like, I want a tattoo of just that. It was so great, and they do a really good job of like balancing. It reminded me almost of Dark Gathering in that way, of like these really creepy, unsettling scenes just paired with like really good, great comedic like humor. Like the writing in it is phenomenal because it does kind of give you that like varied balance. Like you've got action, you've got some spooky, it's funny, you have slice of life. Like it has, I feel like, a little bit of something for everyone. It has trauma. Everything you need. Hot grandmas.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you're into shonen and you're not sure if you're gonna like slice of life or romance, try Dandadan. If you're into slice of life or romance and you're not sure you're gonna like shonen stuff, try Dandadan. Like, it's gateway, but like both ways, where you're like, if you're not really sure what you're gonna be into, but you have tried anime before and you do like anime, try Dandadan.
And you're okay with some trigger. Try Dandadan.
Oh, man, what was I going to say? I was going to say something else about, like, the story. It was so funny, because, like, the last episode... Well, actually, also, before I get into that, do you watch sub or dub?
For this one?
I meant to ask that at the beginning.
So, for me, it always depends on the show and what I'm doing when I watch it. For this one, I have been watching
You're on the same.
dub.
Okay. So, I've been watching subbed.
Fascinating for you. That's very interesting.
But I read the manga.
That's fair. So what's different between sub or dub based on the manga?
No, I just meant, like, I'm more comfortable watching subs if I've already read the manga. But for, like, slice of lives and romances and stuff, I will usually only watch the dub, because to your point, like, I don't feel like I'm missing anything if I look away.
Yeah.
But it's mostly my husband. He was like, I want to watch this subbed. And I was like, okay, whatever.
I mean, I definitely get that. So if it's the first time I've seen something, I typically prefer to watch it subbed. But my fiance does prefer to watch things dubbed, so.
I also do. But from what I understand, the voice actors in the dub have been doing a really good job.
Honestly, I'm pretty harsh on dubbed voice actors, I won't lie. I can be kind of a jerk about it. Just because I think that a lot of time they tried to do an anime voice, which I think comes across, especially female voices, they come across just really high-pitched, and I simply cannot. But I have had no issues with the voice actors in this. I thought they've been doing a really good job. It all comes across really well. Like, I have had no issues.
So, and the reason I bring it up is because, one, I think Turbo Okarun, he does this, like, very, like, informal, like, babe, like, talk, like, when he's in... But he doesn't do that much in the, like, it's not really how it goes down in the sub. But I also brought it up...
I watched dub then.
I'm mad about it. But basically, so the voice actor who is Okarun, he's a phenomenal voice actor anyway. It's the same voice actor that is Hawks in My Hero.
That's cool.
He does a lot of stuff. I was, like, trying to look up the other things that he does, but basically he was talking, because his wife, who he met through basically, like, this, like, voice acting community.
Yeah.
Because he did some, like, voice acting for some video games and stuff. Mm-hmm. But his wife, I believe, is also a voice actress in this.
Cool.
I'm trying to remember her name and who she was, but yeah, so because he had posted a TikTok about it, like he had posted a TikTok about how, like, they had met, and then how, like, she was also in this. I hear you crunching away, doing the hard research, getting the listeners our hard hitting facts.
The worst part is, I was just looking up the exact line he says in his, like, melancholy voice, because I want it on a mug, and I was going to read it to you, but it's the, like, sorry, babe, we're not going to make the turn, you're too heavy, and I want it on a mug so bad. He says it just so, like, deadpan, dead inside, just like, sorry, babe, and I'm like, God,
right.
It's funny that, like, you're like, oh, they don't really do that in the sub. I'm so glad I watched the dub then, because that line itself was what made me, like, really start to fall in love with the show. I don't know why, but I heard that line and I was just like, I'm obsessed. It was just
actually,
so
there's someone who makes, there's someone who makes mugs, and I'm obsessed with all of their mugs on Instagram, and I feel like they did a similar one, but I opened Instagram right now to try to find the mug name, and the tattoo artist that's in Toronto that you and I are trying to go see, they posted a cat version of the grandma. God, I wish that it would show on the camera. There it is.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Precious.
Stop. They're so talented. Honestly.
They really are. So for our listeners, there's a tattoo artist. You can follow them on Instagram. It's Idabelle, Idabelle, Pepper 2 on Instagram. And they're this tattoo artist in Toronto. So if you're in Toronto, look them up, or nearby. Basically, they take anime characters, video game characters, manga, whatever, and they turn those characters into, like, a cat version of them. And the reason I fell in love with their work was because they'd done, like, a cat choso that I now own the keychain of. I'm obsessed with it, but the cat versions that they do are phenomenal, and they're trying to, right now, get someone to go in and get the Okarun and Momo pair, like, together as a tattoo.
Don't you tempt me.
Toronto is too far for how many of these tattoos that I want.
They're so talented. Everything. I feel like I have yet to see one where I'm like, that's a miss. Like, every single one they post, I'm like, oh my god, do I need that one too? Like, they put out that, the Joker one from Persona 5, and I was like, oh
my god.
Do I go get that on my body?
They're all so good. Also, I realized I had sent you, this is unrelated to the folks listening to the podcast, I had sent you an Instagram of 5 seconds before Witch Falls in Love, and I was just reorganizing my manga earlier, and I'm pretty sure I have the first volume here. I think my husband obtained it, and now I was looking and I was like, wait, that manga looks familiar, I just saw that. So if you haven't already bought it, don't, because I think I have it downstairs.
Perfect, wrap it up, put a bow on it. I already have some I can return to you. I give you Call of the Night, you give me that, we'll call it a day.
I think you have through 6 of Call of the Night, because I've got through 13, so I can give you the other half.
We'll just keep switching them out.
Yeah, we'll just keep doing
home, get you a friend
manga swap.
Who you guys like to read the same manga, but you buy different manga, because then you can just keep swapping manga out. Mm-hmm. It works really well.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna find it later. I'll post the... Sorry, there's a a Honey Senpai figure that I just was exposed to on my Instagram, and oh no.
You gotta put it away. Poor.
No, I can't. I have to put it down. Okay, so... Sorry, the attention span, it's non-existent. My medications wore off. It's late here and during this recording, so sorry everyone. Yeah, this last episode of Dandadan, though, was pretty straightforward, but again, they mostly do the extra flourishing and the fight scenes. I was gonna say earlier before I got distracted and wanted to side tangent you about the voice acting changes and like some of the text dialogue that changes, but I wanted to bring up that in this last episode, they bring up go into the class. So my husband's obsessed with animals, but like particularly animals that can be found in an aquarium. There's the scene where they're in the classroom and Momo's talking to this mantis shrimp. And as soon as my husband lays eyes on the shrimp, they haven't even said that it's a mantis shrimp. He looks, he goes, that's a mantis shrimp. I hope that's bulletproof glass because they punch really hard. And I'm just like, that's my man.
Tell me why I just watched this episode and I do not remember a shrimp. I remember Nessie.
What? Her friends even made fun of her. They were like, oh, she's talking to shrimp now. She's really depressed.
Manta, shrimp.
What?
I'm looking at... I don't remember. I don't remember this. Let me see.
You don't remember that Scrimps?
No.
Oh my god.
Not at all. I've never seen this script before in my life.
Have you seen this script before?
I've never seen the script. I remember Nessie. I remember seeing the Loch Ness Monster because I made a joke to my fiance when it, like, does the, like, laser beam. And I was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew the Loch Ness Monster had a laser beam and was in a school in Japan. No one listened to me. And he just, like, rolled his eyes at me.
Oh my god.
I'm enjoying... One thing I did not expect with this show, I think, is just the total cacophony of, like, all cryptids, aliens, ghosts, monsters. Like, I was shook to see the Loch Ness Monster show up. I never, if you had bet me and been like, Bun Bun, what creature do you think will show up next? I never would have guessed it. But it gets me excited because while I know it's unlikely, I'm like, is Mothman coming? Am I going to see Mothman in this show eventually? And while it's unlikely, he could show up now, and I'm excited about that. Why are you making...
Because now I'm excited and hopeful that Mothman shows up.
Oh, because now you realize Mothman's an option?
I hadn't quite made the connection that
yeah, because Loch Ness Monster's a cryptid.
An option. Yeah.
Unless they're going to try and explain that... I mean, I guess it could be a Japanese mythical beast that I have not heard of. That does check out as well. But I would rather assume that it's the Loch Ness Monster, and that means Mothman. Or maybe Cthulhu shows up? Maybe we get some Cthulhu action? I'm always ready to see Cthulhu. Maybe I should Google Dandadan Cthulhu. See what I get.
There you go. Also just realized I meant to check in earlier, but this is not recording live on TikTok. It hasn't been this entire time.
We're doing great. So sorry to our fans and viewers who wish to have watched us live on TikTok. We don't know how technology works.
It's because we don't have enough followers yet, so I have to do this, like, back loop thing in order to be able to live stream through, like, our recording software.
Yeah.
And it has to be, like, reset every time we record, and sometimes it doesn't work on the first try, and I just forgot to check,
weird.
But anyway. So, back to the mantis shrimp, though, like...
The supposed mantis shrimp that I can neither confirm nor deny was in the show.
So, yeah, my husband clocked that mantis shrimp, like...
That checks out.
Like, were in the classroom, and he was like... They were doing the presentation. They were doing a presentation on mantis shrimp. Then they zoomed into the, like... the holding vessel of the mantis shrimp. Then she was talking to the shrimp, and then her friends made fun of her for talking to the shrimp.
I remember.
Oh my god, I had to play back the whole episode verbally.
Yes. Also, that didn't even look like a shrimp.
Well, it's a mantis shrimp.
I don't know what that is. We're not all like your husband, okay?
It's like a bigger version of like a regular shrimp, but it's like the special shrimps that can see in like way many colors. Like these shrimps are crazy. And so what you probably don't know, since you don't know about mantis shrimps, is that they punch really hard. So my husband, when the episode started, like when they were talking about the shrimps, he's like, "Oh, that better be bulletproof glass, because mantis shrimp underwater can punch so hard that they can break glass."
Constantly fascinated by the amount of facts that your husband knows about random aquatic animals. This is unrelated, but very related to this. We were watching Dropout recently, and there's an episode where they're asking people to name birds, and every time they go to Brennan, they give like this really complicated...
That one!
They do a really complicated bird, and my fiance was like, we should play this with Val's husband. Actually, though, he'd probably know all these weird birds.
Well, if you did fish, he would know.
So we could trip him up with birds. I just don't...
You could probably trip him up with birds, but fish he would probably know.
What do you mean shrimp punch strong? They're shrimp.
So, you know how, like, when you're underwater and you try to punch, like, you are slowed down by the water and, like, you can't punch as hard underwater? It's the opposite for mantis shrimp.
They're supercharged by the water?
They're supercharged when they're in the water.
So what you're saying
and they can punch so hard.
So what you're saying
I don't know how else to explain other than mantis shrimp punch really hard that they can break, like, this shrimp could break glass. So like, amateur aquatic animal collectors would buy a mantis shrimp, put it in a normal aquarium, and the shrimp will break out of the aquarium.
So instead of watching, like, National Geographic channel about animals, I should just watch Dandadan because it's gonna give me realistic portrayals of animals. Is that what you're telling
in the
me?
next episode, you're about to find out. Like, you're getting all the previews from me because we know about mantis shrimp, but you're gonna learn. I think the next episode is really gonna teach you about mantis shrimp, okay?
The worst part is we're gonna go to do, like, another episode, like, you know, when the season ends or something, and you're gonna be like, alright, Bun, you remember that episode with the mantis shrimp? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't remember a shrimp. Because I'm just gonna continue to picture, like, the shrimp I have in my ramen. Just
right.
Shrimp.
Okay, yeah, no, these shrimps are crazy. So they're called mantis shrimp
you didn't
because...
just Google mantis shrimps. This is not
So they're a carnivorous crustacean.
Animes about mantis shrimp.
They're named mantis shrimp because they have praying mantis hands, but they're a shrimp.
Oh, I hate them. I hate that now. I'm gonna look up a real photo of a mantis shrimp.
They're actually, like, pretty sick looking. They're, like, rainbow, like, crazy colored shrimp guys. But they do have, like, the praying mantis hands. But their eyes are so freaky, they can see way more colors than even our human brain can comprehend. I didn't learn that from Dandadan. I already knew that.
I'm gonna have nightmares. I would like to make it very clear that when she says really cool looking, she means a thing of nightmares. It just happens to be rainbow. And people eat these.
No!
Yeah, I just found how to clean mantis shrimp.
No.
So, I guess when they're not in the water, they're not rainbow. Because I'm seeing pictures of them...
That tracks for Dandadan.
In people's hands and stuff, and they're not rainbow boys. They're kind of like a...
I wonder if they can change color.
I don't know, because in all the pictures... Ew. Oh. Sorry, I'm getting triggered. But in all... like, every single picture where they're not in water... What do you mean they're cute?
Okay, wait, look at this. So, mantis shrimp have 12 to 16 color receptors. Humans only have 3.
I only have 2.
I think my husband only has 2.
I think your husband only has 1.3.
So wait, are mantis shrimp, like, do they change color? Change color? Okay, wait, hold on. I'm about to learn something.
Well, I'm trying to order your husband a taxidermy mantis shrimp right now. Does he want that
No, and our cats will eat it. No, our cats will eat it.
No, it's in a block of resin. It's just in a block of resin.
Oh,
Is that
it's
what he wants
resin.
for Christmas? Is that a gift? Did I do it?
Some species of mantis shrimp absorb blue light and re-emit it as a different color.
I liked it better when we were talking about Dandadan and not creepy scrimp.
On sandy ocean floors, mantis shrimp change to a light brown color. Okay, so they're like chameleons, but ocean chameleons, but bugs, but then they have mantis hands, but they're really a scrimp.
Whoa.
These guys really got it all.
Stay tuned next week. Girls Gaze Animes will be sponsored by Mantis Shrimps.
I think my husband will listen to this episode because I'll tell him that I spent half the episode talking about mantis shrimp.
No, because then he'll hear me say that he's a nerd. He'll hear me say that he only has 1.3 color receptors. I'll be in trouble forever.
I mean, he does confuse brown and gray and green pretty easily, so mantis
just
shrimp
like a mantis shrimp.
No, mantis shrimps would never. But anyway, so I think the next episode.
Okay.
Try to wrap this up because we're coming up on an hour of recording, which we always do.
Mantis shrimps, yeah. Right.
So actually, it's funny you say that because I think the mantis shrimp is what's going to make you cry the next episode.
What? I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. I do not think a mantis shrimp is gonna make me cry. Unless it's that shrimp from that one kids movie where he's like, I have a family and my son need to pay for his...
My sister had a baby and then she died.
The only shrimp that will ever make me cry. I do not know how a mantis shrimp will make me cry.
I won't spoil it for you, but...
You've already spoiled so much.
What do you mean?
You told me there was a mantis shrimp in the show. That was a spoiler.
You already watched that episode.
I watched it, but I didn't see it.
Okay, well, so then I'll connect for you that the guy that they're fighting is a scrimp, but he's a fighter guy, okay?
I don't remember that. Okay, so I do remember the shrimp in the tank. I don't remember them fighting a shrimp. I only remember the Loch Ness Monster. What happened to the Loch Ness Monster?
At the very end of the episode, a guy squares up with them.
I don't remember that.
And that's the scrimp guy.
That's Nessie.
He's like,
not Nessie. Does the scrimp have a name?
He will have a name.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous show this is. We started this episode talking about aliens wanting to steal high school girls' bananas. And we're ending it by talking about how a mantis shrimp is going to apparently make me cry as he prepares to fight our heroes.
Well, yeah. So I'm hoping...
What are we watching again?
So I included here on my screen grab that I threw together for this cow scene. And I'm hopeful that the next episode will get to the cow scene as well. So think about that. Think about we haven't gotten through a fight scene with the scrimp guy yet, but I'm hopeful that by the end of the episode we'll get to this cow part.
The scrimp's
Think about that timeline. Think about the timeline. What could possibly happen? How could we transition from a scrimp guy to a cow abduction?
Obviously, Mothman. Mothman's gonna show up.
Tune in next time to Girls Gaze Animes to find out how what scrimps and cows have in common.
Mothman. I just solved it for them.
I think it's gonna be it's not silky tearjerker, but it's up there.
Honestly, you telling me that the shrimp and this cow abduction are related makes me believe you even less that I'll cry. That brings it even further away from tears. Unless this cow ate the scrimp and his sister needs money for her surgery, my sister had a baby, and then that's what it was. She had a baby. Thank you.
And she died. I think that's how it goes. I don't know.
That sounds right. You're doing great.
Yay. So yeah, I stand by what I said. Tune in next week. Well, sorry, we post bi-weekly, so tune in 2 weeks from now and let us know your thoughts in the comments about how the cow and the scrimp fighter are.
The cow and the scrimp fight?
Oh no, I said too much. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you like my Notice Me Senpai shirt, follow the link in our bio to obtain your own Girls Gaze Anime's official Notice Me Senpai baby tee. It's also sold in crewneck through KDM Vintage. Check out their stuff. They have pre-mades as well as custom orders.
So many options. They have everything. And yeah, they'll do whatever.
Also, if you follow the link in our bio, you get 15% off. If you're too nervous to use our link, you can just use our discount code for 10% if you want 5% less off. Discount code GGA.
If you're too nervous.
No, I don't know why. Some people are like, whatever. This is Girls Gaze Animes. We love you guys. Bye.